this next series of videos, we're going to look at how to use funding allocations, specifically the funding grid tool in Element. What is a funding allocation? If you are managing an initiative, such as a project, you'll also be managing the allocated project budget to ensure you deliver your product in time and on cost. So here we are in my project, and you can see that I've created my project budget with this funding allocation. Let's click into it. You can see that it's captured my forecast for the cost of this project. I can type in any actual values that I've spent, and then the baseline amount. If I wanted to manually update my forecast, I can click on this forecast cell in here and manually change it. I can also type in total actual amounts if I had spent any. But to manage this much more effectively, I'm going to use the funding grid by clicking on the funding grid icon to help me manage my costs at a much more detailed level. If I enter any values into this funding grid, it will override the values in my funding allocation. So here we are at the funding grid. On the left here, you have the account rows. These level 1 costs, such as labor, hardware and software, are roll-ups of level 2 cost lines. If I expand labor, you will see it's a roll-up of external and internal cost lines. Now the columns are essentially costs broken down into months. Here's where we are in August. Anything prior to August will be grayed out. Only actuals can be imported into these columns. From September, I'm able to edit the forecasts going forward by typing in the relevant cells. In August, I can add in my forecasts, but later on I can import my actuals to go into the relevant cells. Now at the bottom here, you can see that I've got my monthly totals. Now I can view these totals by what my actuals are, my forecasts, and also what my latest approved spend was going to be. Here I can toggle some variance views between approved less my forecasts and approved less my actuals. And at the bottom here, I can see what my total variance is. I've got no approved budget, so my forecast is 50,000, but my approved forecast is 0, which is why I've got a variance of negative 50,000. In a later video, we'll cover off what the snapshot button does. We'll also cover off what the actuals import is, and how to get insights from the funding grid. If you want to move your grid view forward or backwards, you can use the arrows on the right hand side and the left hand side. The double arrows take you back a year or can take you forward a year. So that's the basic breakdown of the funding grid. In the upcoming videos, we'll show you how to update your forecasts and how the approval process works. See you then.